In 1974, a man walked out of the Philippine jungle holding a rifle. He was 52 years old. His uniform was immaculate. His rifle was clean, oiled, and fully loaded. He had been fighting a war for 29 years. Nobody had told him it was over. To understand Hiroo Onoda, you have to understand the world that made him. Japan in the 1930s is a nation that has turned loyalty into a religion. The emperor is not merely a ruler, he is a living god. The soldier is not merely a fighter, he is an extension of the emperor and #039's divine will. And surrender. Surrender is not an option. It is not a tactical decision to be weighed against survival. It is a disgrace so total, so permanent, so annihilating to everything a soldier is supposed to be, that death, any death, in any form, is preferable to it. This is not propaganda. This is the air Hiroo Onoda breathes from the moment he is old enough to understand what it means to be Japanese. He enlists at 18. By 1944, he is 22 years old, sharp, resourceful, and selected for something unusual. He is sent to the Nakano School, Japan, and #039's elite military intelligence training facility, where he is taught not conventional warfare, but something far more demanding. Guerrilla tactics, survival behind enemy lines, operating alone, without orders, without support, without the comfort of knowing whether anyone is coming. He is taught, explicitly and deliberately, to keep fighting even when all hope of reinforcement is gone. Even when the situation appears lost. Even when the entire world seems to have moved on without him. He is taught this as a virtue. He learns it as a soldier. He will live it as something else entirely. In December 1944, Onoda is sent to Lubang Island in the Philippines, a small, jungle-covered island roughly 75 miles southwest of Manila. His orders are precise and absolute. He is to conduct guerrilla warfare against Allied forces. He is to disrupt supply lines, gather intelligence, and resist any attempt to take the island. He is not to surrender. He is not to take his own life. He is to fight until he receives orders, direct orders, from a superior officer, to stop. Those are his orders. He will follow them for 29 years. The war ends on the 15th of August, 1945. Japan surrenders. The most destructive conflict in human history. A war that kills somewhere between 70 and 85 million people, is over. On Lubang Island, Hiroo Onoda does not know this. He is in the jungle. He is moving. He is watching. He is doing exactly what he was trained to do. In the weeks after the surrender, leaflets are dropped over their Philippine jungle. Printed notices that the war is finished, that Japanese soldiers are to lay down their arms and present themselves to Allied commanders. Onoda finds one. He reads it. And he concludes, with complete certainty, that it is a trick. Allied propaganda. A psychological operation designed to lure Japanese soldiers out of hiding so they can be captured or killed. His training has prepared him for exactly this. The enemy will lie. The enemy will forge documents, simulate surrender, manufacture false realities to break your will. A true soldier sees through their deception and holds his position. Onoda holds his position. By 1949, most of the small Japanese unit on Lubang Island has either surrendered or died. Onoda is down to 3 men. Himself and 2 soldiers named Shoichi Shimada and Kinshichi Kazuka. Together, the 3 of Then melt deeper into the jungle, establish supply caches, build shelters from bamboo and leaves, and continue the war that the rest of the world has quietly filed away as history. They raid farms for food. They fire on Philippine police patrols they believe or enemy combatants. They move constantly, sleeping in different locations to avoid being tracked. They are, by any measure, extraordinarily capable soldiers. They are also fighting a ghost war. The Philippine government, the Japanese government, and Onoda and #039's own family all attempt to reach him through the 1950s and 60s. Search parties are sent into the jungle. Loudspeakers broadcast messages from family members, pleading with him to come out. In 1959, Onoda is officially declared dead in Japan. His family holds a funeral. He is alive, 300 feet inside the tree line, watching. In 1961, a letter from his own father is dropped over the jungle by aircraft, begging him to surrender. Onoda decides it is a forgery. The logic is iron and unbreakable and completely, catastrophically sealed against any evidence that might crack it. He is a soldier. He has orders. His orders have not changed. Therefore the war has not ended. Therefore anything that appears to suggest otherwise is enemy deception. The world cannot get inside that logic. Nothing can. Shimada is killed in a firefight with Philippine soldiers in 1954. Kazuka is shot and killed in 1972, 27 years after the war ended, during a raid on a rice storage facility. He is 51 years old. When word reaches Japan that a Japanese soldier has been killed in the Philippine jungle in 1972, the reaction is not disbelief. It is grief, because the Japanese people understand, in a way that is difficult to fully translate, what it means that this man has been out there. What kind of country sends a soldier into a jungle with those orders, and what kind of soldier follows them for 27 years without question? There is a word in Japanese, jiri, that roughly translates to duty, obligation, the debt you owe to those who made you. Hiroo Onoda does not merely feel jiri. He is made of it. By 1974, Onoda is the last man standing. He is 52 years old. He has been in the Philippine jungle for nearly 3 decades. His boots are held together with wire. His uniform has been repaired so many times that almost none of the original fabric remains. And he is still fighting. That year, a young Japanese adventurer named Norio Suzuki travels to the Philippines on something between a quest and a dare. He has told friends he is going to find Hiroo Onoda, the abominable snowman, and the panda, in that order. Most people do not believe any of those things are achievable. Suzuki finds Onoda. Within 4 days, he walks into the jungle, makes camp, and simply waits. And one morning, Onoda is there, watching him from the trees, rifle raised, the same way he has watched every stranger who has entered his jungle for 29 years. Suzuki does not run. He calls out. He tells Onoda his name. He tells him he has come from Japan. He tells him the Japanese people are proud of him, that his country has not forgotten him, and that he would like to talk. Onoda lowers the rifle. They sit together. Suzuki explains that the war is over. That it has been over for 29 years. That Japan is now a prosperous, peaceful nation, and that Hiroo Onoda is a legend at home. Onoda listens. And then he says the thing that makes this story impossible to forget. He says he cannot surrender. Not because he does not believe Suzuki, but because he has not received orders. He was given a mission by a commanding officer. He will not abandon that mission until that commanding officer, or a direct representative of the Japanese military chain of command, personally relieves him of his duty. Those are the rules. He will follow the rules. Suzuki returns to Japan. He finds Onoda and -039's former commanding officer, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, who is now, in 1974, a retired bookseller living a quiet life in Tokyo. Taniguchi agrees to go back with him. On the 9th of March, 1974, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi walks into the Philippine jungle in civilian clothes and finds Hiroo Onoda standing at attention. He reads the order aloud. All combat activity is to cease immediately. The 14th Area Army has ceased all combat activity. You are to lay down your arms. Onoda stands in silence for a long moment. Then he removes the ammunition from his rifle. He places it on the ground. He has followed his orders for 29 years, 4 months, and several days. He follows this one too. When Hiroo Onoda emerges from the jungle, the Philippines is a different country to the one he entered. Japan is a different country. The world is a different world. Men have walked on the moon. Television exists. The cities he knew as a young soldier are unrecognizable. He is 52 years old and he has never watched television. He is 52 years old and the last 29 years of his life have been a war that existed only in his own jungle, in his own orders, in his own unbreakable mind. The Philippine government initially wants to prosecute him for the raids and killings that occurred during his time in the jungle. President Ferdinand Marcos ultimately issues a pardon, recognizing that Onoda had acted in complete good faith as a soldier following the only orders he had ever received. Japan receives him as a hero. He does not feel like one. In interviews in the years that followed, Onoda is not triumphant. He is not proud in the way a man who has won something is proud. He speaks with the quiet, complicated grief of a man who gave everything he had to a cause, and then discovered, too late, that the cause had ended while he was still giving. He says he felt sorry for all the men who died fighting alongside him, and for the Philippine soldiers and civilians who were killed in skirmishes they could not have known were senseless. He says the hardest part was not the hunger, or the loneliness, or the years. The hardest part was the moment he put down the rifle. Hiroo Onoda died in January 2014, aged 91. He spent the later decades of his life running a nature school for children in Brazil and Japan, teaching young people survival skills and self-reliance. The man who had survived 3 decades in the jungle turned out to have something worth passing on. Not the war, but the discipline, the patience, the refusal to give up. He gave those things freely. He had, after all, spent a lifetime perfecting them. There is something in this story that goes beyond the extraordinary facts of it, beyond the jungle, the rifle, the 29 years. It is this. Hiroo Onoda was not wrong about who he was. He was a soldier of exceptional discipline, loyalty, and courage. Every quality he brought to that jungle. Every morning he rose before dawn, every patrol he ran through the dark, every year he held his position when the easier thing would have been to walk out. Those qualities were real. He was simply serving the wrong information, not the wrong values, not the wrong character, the wrong information. And that is perhaps the most quietly devastating lesson of his life. It is possible to do everything right, to be faithful, to be Disciplined, to persevere through suffering that would break most people, and still spend 29 years fighting a war that ended before you started. The Proverbs say it plainly. Chapter 14, verse 12. And quote, "There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death." And quote. Not moral failure, not weakness, just a path that looked correct, followed faithfully, that led somewhere no one intended to go. Check your orders. Not once. Regularly. Because loyalty to the wrong mission, however total, however admirable in its discipline, is still loyalty to the wrong mission. Hiroo Onoda deserved better orders. So do you. If this story made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for a new true life story every week. Stories of ordinary people who faced impossible circumstances, and what those circumstances reveal about what it means to be human. We will see you in the next one.